coronavirus. Anyways, welcome to a brand new tips and tricks with Jyoti. DIY style, quarantine or no quarantine, I gotta tell you what's what. So here we are. Also, I straightened my ponytail for y'all. Okay, so we're back with a new episode. Now, in the last 3 episodes, we talked about how to get started on the decks, importance of putting out mixes and radio, and saying no, and the power of saying no and knowing your worth when it comes to bookings and fees. Before we get into the topic of today, I would say to add on to that last video and knowing your worth. I think right now during quarantine, people feel a little bit worried about being forgotten because they can't be seen behind the decks in clubs and other spaces. And I just want to tell you, quarantine or no quarantine, there's no difference. Don't let these big brands take the piss out of you. A lot of big brands are reaching out to a lot of DJs, including myself, to do sets on their Instagram and then expect me to do it for free. Listen, honey, the last time I checked, my landlord does not take hair straightening cream as rent. The day that they do, I'll do that for you. But until then, stop using the culture as a marketing tool, okay? Invest in us. Say no. Today's video is going to be all about finding your music, sourcing your music. When I dropped the first few videos of tips and tricks, some people hit me up in the DM saying, I would love for you to do a video about how to find music. And to be really honest with you, I thought that was a really weird question because I just thought, you will find whatever it is that you're looking for if you really want to find it. I know that makes me sound like a bit of a dick, but in my head, I just didn't get it because I was, that little kid, like 10, 11 years old on LimeWire and Kazaa and Napster. Like I've always looked for music and I just thought, if you like music, you know where to find it. But then someone else in the DMs really put me in my place, and I'm really glad that they did, because they said, for you, it may seem very normal. A lot of us don't or haven't, and we don't know where to find our music. So I thought, you know what? Fair point. Disclaimer, like I do with every video, everything I'm saying is not final end all truth. It's not the Bible. It's just my opinion and just some trips. Some tips and tricks that I wanted to share with you. Now, one thing I'll say from the start is I actually put this question in a few of the WhatsApp groups that I'm in with a lot of DJs and producers from around the world. And something I really noticed is it's funny because for so long I, have it in my Instagram bio. It says no algorithms. But it is a fact that we have moved to the day and age of algorithms, because a lot of the people that are asked what websites and blogs they use to find new music, 90% said none. The 2 answers that everyone gives are Spotify and SoundCloud algorithms. So what that means is on both Spotify and SoundCloud, you have the option of start radio. So when you're listening to a particular song that you like, you can go and click on start radio, which means that their algorithms have already created playlists of similar songs within similar styles or related artists that the algorithm thinks or calculates that you would probably also like. Very often, more than not, you'll be surprised. I mean, your New Music Monday playlist is probably 80% stuff that you've added to your favorited songs. So this is a great way. It's a great way of discovering new artists, discovering new music, even discovering new sounds. Another way to get really a little bit deeper into this is, I get very often have DJs messaging me about where did you find these songs? Or sometimes people even tell me, can you send me all your edits? Like, okay, I'm known to be playing a lot of remixes and edits of songs that you either haven't heard at all or you haven't heard yet because they're not out yet. And that's kind of my thing. And I'm proud of that. And I have a lot of friends who do the same thing. And when I post a mix or a set, I don't mind when someone messages me. And this is super personal. This is just my opinion. I don't mind when someone messages me and says, what is that one song? Or, those 2 songs. But it's kind of like an unwritten rule, or there's a bit of like an etiquette between DJs, I think, that if a whole playlist has not been put out, keep it to a minimum, I would say. And I don't mind when people ask me for particular songs. What I do find a little bit uncomfortable is when I have DJs emailing me or DMing me saying, can you send me a Dropbox links or a WeTransfer file with a bunch of songs or remixes that you play? Or can you tell me where you found all of them? Because part of the process of physically playing these songs is actually just as much finding those songs. There's a lot of pride and time and effort and searching and listening over and over again that goes into it. Like sometimes you can be up till early in the morning once you're like in a flow of just trying to find these tracks and trying to find these undiscovered gems and undiscovered producers and DJs. So don't take that very lightly. I would suggest spend time, like put your time and effort in it, because the more love you put into it, the more that will show in your actual track selection if you want to be, a bit different or a bit exclusive. Another great tool to find new artists is to listen to other people's radio shows. Check out when people put up Spotify playlists or Apple Music playlists, when they share their own curated playlist of other people's music. Don't just ignore it, because the answer is right there. Very often I get asked, who should I be listening to? And I always get a little bit offended, because I think, okay, I do a weekly radio show with 2 hours of music, of which afterwards I share a track list of. I've got about 5 or 6 Spotify playlists. There's so many mixes out that you can listen to. Why not take a look at that? I'm giving you the answers for free. This doesn't come from a bad place. I'm just trying to open your mind a little bit to think outside of the box. And, sometimes before straight up asking somebody, just take a look at what they've done already and what they've curated for you. Because when I make these playlists, I don't make them for me. I make them to share them with you. Then I very often get the question about ripping songs. Now, what does ripping mean? Ripping means when a song is not been officially downloaded legally, I would say. Ripping would be if through all these weird dodgy websites that could really harm your laptop and your computer, by the way, is to take a URL link from a song you're listening to, for example, on YouTube or on SoundCloud, and putting them in these converters, which there's so many of, which could make you think that it's fine. It really isn't. Because let me tell you why. One, if an artist hasn't made their music available for download, it's because they don't want you to have it like that, either yet or at all. And there could be many reasons behind this, so we should respect that. Another thing is, and I think a lot of new DJs are not aware of this, I became really aware of this because I was told from before my very first set, don't do that, because people can tell. You can hear the difference in quality. The quality of the song will not be as good as it would be if it was retrieved. Is that even the right English word? Retrieved in a legal way, either purchased through Apple Music or Bandcamp. Bandcamp is a fantastic place to discover new artists and really give them a big cut of the money. And it very often gives you an option of what you want to pay. There'll be a minimum, but you can pay more or less. What is a good way of going about this? A lot of people ask me, how do you get all these remixes then? Like, how do you get them? Because a lot of them are not downloadable. If it's available, and if it's out there for you to get it, I want that artist to do well. I want him to win as well. So I'll tell you who they are and where I found it. But very often when it's unreleased or non-downloadable, I will tell you that. And if you then still make the decision to rip it, then that's on you. But I'm not going to be responsible for that. What a great way is to get the song and to get more songs in the future is to just reach out. There's always a contact button, there's always contact details, there's DMs, there's email addresses. Build a relationship. Explain to this producer or artist or whoever uploaded the song. Of course, if it's Ty Dolla $ign, it's probably not going to happen, but I'm talking about the low-key people who make these remixes that you love so much. Hit them up and say, hey, I'm a DJ or I'm a radio host from so-and-so and I would love to play your music. Could you send me the song? This way, you not only build up a rapport with this artist, and they will send you more songs in the future, but also you don't ever have to worry about someone finding out that you ripped a song that you weren't supposed to have, or it's sounding really bad. So that's definitely like my top tip. Another answer that was given to me in the group chat, which I really didn't expect, because personally for me, this is not where I find a lot of new music. A lot of the DJs I was speaking to said that they discover a lot of new songs on other musicians or producers or DJs Instagram stories. Apparently that's a really good way, if you like what you hear, to just screenshot it or to just look at the name that will show up at the top and save that song and add it to your playlist. For me, that was completely new information, so that was really helpful. Moving away from the social media platforms, like I was surprised to hear a lot of my friends told me that they don't use blogs or websites anymore. Now, if I really think about it, I think I'm very lucky to be in a position now where I don't often go to blogs, like not that often anymore, but I do still sometimes. Go to the websites that you often find yourself going to when you read interviews and articles. Very often, they also have a new release or a new music section. So this could be anything from a Complex to a Crack magazine or DJ Mag. Sometimes you also kind of need to read between the lines. But when you read an interview with a producer, they're essentially promoting music. So go and check out their discography and see what's out there. A lot of these blogs are also very helpful in the comment section. And this takes me back to the day of forums, because I used to always be on OK Players forum. I was on OK Players, another great website, by the way. I was on so many music forums, and you would always discover new music in the comment section or on the forum, going back and forth with all these strangers on the internet from all around the world. And again, I think I wouldn't say it's died down. It is dying down. It's just kind of taken on a new format of more like comments than an actual forum. It's less community focused, but if you want to put in the time and the effort, I would say definitely go and check that out, because you'll be surprised. I think the moral of the whole story is that no new music is going to come to you easily if you're not willing to put a little bit of work into that. I guess it's the same for a lot of people who go digging for records. You know, they have to spend time and hours going to different shops and going through all the crates and all the sections, trying to find something that looks interesting or original or unheard of. The same thing goes for what you're doing online. And also, don't be afraid to just speak to your friends. I do that all the time. Just because my friends aren't DJs or radio hosts doesn't mean that they don't listen to artists that I would have never heard of. They have completely different music tastes. So this is definitely also a way that I find my music. Ask them. To come to a conclusion about where to find your new music, reaching out to producers online, using algorithms to your advantage, listening to radio shows, checking out track lists, checking out curated playlists, blogs, websites, and magazines when you get the chance, and asking your friends. I forgot one of the most fun ones. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please make sure to share it with your friends, share it on your stories, tag, and like it, heart it, comment. I want to know what you want to know in the next video. Champion sound. And buy people's merchandise. Yeah, buy people's merchandise now during the days of coronavirus. Hope you find it helpful. I'll be back with you with Tips and Tricks 5. Wow, we're really moving forward. I won't know what you want to hear, so I can always be the one to give you information. I wish that I could get to you. Tyrese. Joe. Great song. Am I ever going to meet someone who feels that way? Who really feels like Joe in I Wanna Know? To be continued. Stay tuned.